Okay, this is the first video of 2025. So what we're going to be working on today is the Cherokee. We're going to put some interior lighting in, and I'm pretty excited about what I'm going to try. And let's get started. What we have is I decided that I wanted to go with LED lighting, and I like the rock lights because they have sturdy housings that are easy to mount. And I found this set here that is has a diffuse lens on it, so it's going to not just be a spot, but it'll diffuse the light around the vehicle. And so I'm looking at using these with these rubber mounting pads, and that way I don't have to worry about trying to hide them. I can put them like at the kick panels inside the vehicle, and I can put 2 or 3 of them in the ceiling. And when I do finish the ceiling and put the headliner in there, all I have to do is pull these off and then mount them on the outside of the headliner. So this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. I've got a bunch of 18 gauge 2-wire here, and what I'm going to do is it's going to be a lot easier to switch the grounds to turn them off and on. So I'm going to run a continuous hot, it'll be fused, I'll put an inline fuse in it, to all the lights, and then I will turn them off and on by switching the ground. Now people think that that's crazy talk, but I will tell you this, that the ECMs in all the vehicles that I know about, at least the American vehicles, they run constant hot and they switch the grounds, because potentially when you switch a ground, the majority of the load gets consumed, or I should say the majority of the amps get consumed by the load when you switch the negative. If you switch the positive, that load, that full load in amps go through the switch. So if you're just switching the negative, the majority of the amps when you turn the circuit off get consumed in the load. So I'm going to do that, plus it's going to make it super easy to find a ground, because all I have to do is attach it to the body of the car. All right, so let's look at the placement here. Now inside the vehicle, I'm thinking, you know, the door, the driver door, like if you're the driver, you're going to be opening up, and this door will be open, so it's going to take and point the light away from the floor a little bit, but the one on the other side will be lit, so which will light everything up, and the one that's overhead will be lit. So I'm thinking that I'm going to put this one down here at the bottom of the door, and these are weatherproof, so you don't have to worry about them getting wet or kicked. And so I'll put one down here on each side. It'll go through the panel, so you won't see the cord. And I've got door switches to replace these that I'll put in, that will trigger it automatically. And then I'll put a manual switch on the dash so that you can light them at any time you want to. The driver does, or can, without having to open the door. And then I'm thinking over here, see if I can do this. All right, so, and then in the kick panels here, Can you see that? Yeah. So in these kick panels, we'll put one down in here. And one day in the kick panels, I'm going to put one here down low, and that potentially could be in the way of the speaker if I ever put speakers back here. However, what we'll do is we'll just relocate it, and the hole that is in there, the speaker will take its place, and then we'll put one, and then the next one will go on this cross brace right here. All right, so what we're looking at here in the back. Now, I don't want to put another one over the passengers because I don't know how often the passengers are going to be in there, and I'm not going to want to have to deal with the light if the passengers want the light on. So I'm not going to worry about a overhead light for the passengers. So basically, I'm going to put this one basically in the middle. It looks like that's where there already was one at one time, and I'll put that over the cargo area. And I have the cargo lamp switch, the original cargo lamp switch that I'll mount next to it. Will I put a plate on there? I think I will. I put a plate on there so that I can mount the light and the cargo switch together, and then all they have to do is reach in there and flip it. However, that might be too far to reach, but we'll see. And I'll go ahead and get busy on pulling those wires through. Once I get the wires through, then I'll shoot the next picture. Okay, this is how far we've gotten so far. I also put the one in on the other side there, just above the speakers. I think that's a good position. Let me go ahead and close this and you'll see it from the other side. And so basically it puts it down low so that you can see the floor of the vehicle. And like I said, I'm going to light the one up that's over the seats too. One problem that I did run into is these door switches are too long on this side. So when the door closes, it will not close with this switch in place. So I'm going to have to go online and see if I can find some low profile switches that I can install. So I had to cut the old ones out. They were rusted in there. But these ones here just will not work. They're just too long. They're actually, if it was just the button that sticked past the door jamb, it may work, but it's half an inch plus a half an inch. That's a whole inch, and so the door will not close, or if it closes, it'll crush that switch. So I'm going to have to find another alternative. All right, so we're going to be jumping back into it, and one of the things that I have to cipher is I need to check. I need to fold the rear seat up. One of the things that I have to cipher is when I'm in here, that when I fold the rear seat up, that it does not hit the interior light where I put it. So I'm going to have to fold that forward, check my clearances there, and then I'll mount the two that are in the passenger rear seat area, and then we'll move to with the seats tilted up. You can see that there. I've got plenty of room in this area here, so I don't have to worry about the seat rubbing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in here, and then I'm going to make sure that an average sized person's knees don't necessarily bump up against it. And okay, so if I'm sitting here, yeah man, I've got all kinds of room. So I think as long as it's below the armrest, which the other one is, you know, on the front over there. So I'll go ahead and match the height, and really there's no interference problems there at all. So let's go ahead and get these next two mounted. I didn't plan this, but I just happened to have the parts. So I have these threaded inserts that I can epoxy into this panel, and that way I don't have to worry about nuts on the other side. When I go to remove and take this apart later, everything will be there, and I won't need to take and worry about pulling the panel off in order to thread these back on. So let's take a look at that real quick. So basically, I used a soldering iron to burn the holes in here because, as I've said before, that this carpet, a drill bit, will grab the threads in this carpet and unweave it. So it's a real pain in the butt. So you have to cauterize basically the polyester in the carpet so that it doesn't pull out. And so there's my thread, and basically that will go in like that, and then I'll put the threaded inserts on the inside, and I should be good to go. And that way I won't have to worry about having nuts on the other side. So let's continue on that. The panels are done, got the lights mounted as you can see here, and the inserts work great. Basically what I had to do was I had to mount the light and then draw the inserts in, and I used some JB Weld epoxy. JB Weld seems to be the best epoxy that I've used that doesn't have the 3M label and cost $1 million. So that'll set up nice. Those inserts shouldn't drop out. Now obviously with this PVC board, you're going to be limited with how much torque you can put on that insert, but all we're trying to do is hold in a couple little lights there, so it's going to be good. So I'll go ahead and let those set up a little bit, take a little break, and then we'll come back and put those in. Let me show you what I put together here for the ribs for the center lights. So this is going to, it's a piece of stainless, and I contoured it so that it'll wrap around that rib a little bit. So it's basically going to go up. So this is what it's going to look like. It's going to go up like that over the rib, and it'll be contoured around there, so it's not necessarily a sharp head hazard. And I've got 4 holes that I can use these self-tapping screws to screw them into. So I used stainless steel plate and stripped it down and then polished it down to like a 300 grit. There's still scratches in there. If you look real close, there's some deeper scratchers in there, but I'm not concerned about getting that out because the majority is going to be covered up. But I just wanted it to be shiny with no rust or dirt. Okay, so let me go and mount these up. All right, let's take a look at the overheads. There's the one for the back, and I'm probably going to locate the switch right here in this corner. And then we've got the one in the middle right there. So I think it's going to look good. I like it. I mean, it's utilitarian looking, but I think it's still going to look sharp even when I get the headliner put in there. So that's where we're at. I've got all 6 of them installed. Now I'm going to run the wires, and just so that you know, I've got a bunch of stuff on order. I had to get some new door jamb switches. I got 2 sets because I don't know which one I like better, but they're low profile. And I'm also going to get a dimmer switch so that if these lights are so bright that they burn the retinas out of your eyes, I can turn them down. And then I'm also getting a push on, push off toggle switch for the dash, so that if I want to at any time, like if I'm reading a map, I can turn the interior lights on and off. Okay, well, dimmers, on off switches, rock lights inside. I mean, it's all coming around. Can't wait till it's finished. Okay, what we're going to focus on today is running those wires. I've got the lights mounted, and Amazon has delivered my dimmer switch, the low profile door jamb switches. However, I don't want to commit to these. I don't know if this is going to be the best one or not, so we're going to go ahead and pull those wires through. I might even draw a diagram of what I'm putting together, and that way we can make some progress while we're still waiting for these other parts to come in, which would be the push button on off. Oh, and the other door jamb switch. Let's see what we got. The 2 doors, front doors are not hooked up yet because I ran out of cable. So I've got the 2 kickers, got the 2 tops in the ceiling, and like I said, the one in the rear there, I'm going to put a remote or manual switch in the back, but I'm running it off of a battery right now. But I need to get another loop going to the passenger door, and then I've got to wire these switches and the door jamb switches. And actually, I don't think that's too bright. I don't think I need a dimmer switch. So we'll check it all out when it's done, but that's where we're at. Ran out of cable, got to order some more. Maybe Home Depot's got some, so let me see, and I'll get back to it.